Hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there. Welcome back to the Agostino Zinga show with your host, Agostino Zinga, and this is episode number 945. That is Nuevo Cuatro Cinco with your host, Agostino Zinga. How you doing? How you feeling, ladies and gentlemen? How you doing? How you feeling? Great, amazing, good to hear. How am I doing? Way worse than you're doing. However you're doing, I'm feeling worse. I'm feeling worse. I'm feeling worse. And ask me, hey, Agostino, why are you feeling so bad? I'm feeling so bad, of course, because United lost the Manchester Derby on Sunday, which is yesterday, because I'm recording this current pod at 6:28 p.m. on the Monday. We lost the Manchester Derby. We lost the Manchester Derby, and I'm pissed off. I'm annoyed. I'm frustrated, but I'm not too surprised. Just to start off my early kind of analysis and review of the match, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of surprised by the optimism and the giddiness from our fan base pre-match. Maybe it's because the way the season started and before the match kicked off, we were ahead of Man City in the table after a couple of games and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the recent injuries Man City have recently suffered to a lot of their star players, their better players. People are thinking, okay, cool, we've got a chance to really kind of spin them. But I was never that confident. I really was never that confident. I was just surprised that people were that, because I think with Man City, regardless of who's injured, who isn't injured, they're a well-oiled machine. You know, they play the same way most of the time. They have the same level of intensity most of the time. They offer the same threats on goal most of the time. It doesn't really matter. Like, Haaland could not play and they're still going to create a lot of chances. Whether or not they're going to score, whether or not they're going to be as clinical with him up front is another topic, but they're still an elite top level team. So I was really surprised by the optimism that I heard amongst other United fans regarding the game and thinking that we were going to win. But obviously the game comes around, you're hoping for the best anyway. Then the lineup turns out and you're like, oh, that lineup was a bit spooky. The lineup is the thing that gave me the most worry, because, you know, Man City have got a lot of competent midfielders. We would only have maybe two in that center of the park in terms of Ugarte and Bruno, who are going to occupy those spaces. So the immediate thing that I thought when I saw that lineup was that we're probably going to get overcrowded in midfield. They're probably going to gang up on us. They're probably going to have, you know, a few more bodies in that midfield that would give us a lot more issue, because in Bruno Fernandes, in Ruben Amorim's system, these two players are basically the only midfielders. Everybody else is basically an attacker, if you think about it. You could basically say this is a back five, and I think everyone else attacks. Those two wing backs don't really come back and defend. There's usually a lot of space around. There's usually a lot of space in front of these players. As you can see, just in the lineup here, there's a big gaping hole right in the middle there. So a lot of the defenders, and, you know, you wouldn't want your striker dropping back. So I was immediately worried when I saw this lineup. Because if you're having Bruno Fernandes and Ugarte playing there as a deep landing midfielders, what you're doing is that you have one specialist in Ugarte who can press, who can defend well, but then you have a midfielder or an attacking midfielder in Bruno Fernandes' sense, who by his nature is not very positionally disciplined. He kind of reminds you a lot of Steven Gerrard towards the end of his time, you know? Steven Gerrard towards the end of his time at Liverpool was still doing the same things he was doing when he was really young. But unfortunately, he was older now, so he wasn't maybe as good. So you couldn't accommodate him. That's a problem. I think when Bruno was first signed to our club, we could accommodate and we could kind of make excuses for him because he was so good going forward. It kind of negated how he was going back. So you just left him up front. But now he's required to be a little bit more defensively disciplined. You see some of his shortcomings because he doesn't really hold his position. He doesn't read the game well, doesn't pass the ball well. He's just not, doesn't have the instincts. So I was already nervous about that personally. But I was happy to see Sesko playing. It's his first start for United, although it was a bit of a hard task for him to be his first start playing for the club, a derby game against Man City. But to be fair, all of our league fixtures are pretty hard, right? All of our league fixtures are pretty fucking hard. So there was never going to be an easy match for him to play. But still, maybe we would have preferred him to get more minutes in previous matches. So he came into this game with a bit more of a flow, a bit more fitness, a bit more confidence. But regardless, he did it anyway. And then, of course, we had Diallo and Mbeumo playing as wingers or as number 10s in that position. But then later on in the match, when the subs were made, Diallo switched back to a wing back again. So whatever. The lineup I wasn't too happy about. And then of course in defense we had Matthijs de Ligt and Luke Shaw playing, and again Euro playing on the other side, and of course Dorgu and Mazwari playing as wing backs. So I was already worried about the lineup because I'm not the biggest fan of Luke Shaw. I said it plenty of times on every platform that I have, that I think if Luke Shaw wasn't white, if Luke Shaw wasn't British or English, I think the conversation around him would be way different. Because he's white, he gets away with fucking murder. Because I think there's players like Martial who were just as injury prone as Luke Shaw, who got hounded out of the club. The fans are booing him in the stadium, all sorts of madness. But Luke Shaw gets a lot of love. Luke Shaw gets a lot of love from the club, from the fans, and he's been a joke. He's been at the club for like 10 plus years. He's always injured, never reliable. Then when he does play, he's fucking terrible. So I'm not the biggest fan of him, and I think he's stealing wages, to be completely honest. But again, he's white, he's English, so he's going to stay to the club until he decides to leave. So when I saw his name in the lineup, again, whatever, I'm not happy about it, but his best position in this team is left centre back, so whatever, it is what it is. Now, to be fair to this team, the first 15 minutes, or let's say the first 12, were pretty good from us. The first 12 to 15 minutes were pretty good. We had a lot of the ball. We were pressing Man City. We were kind of occupying them, you know, just being a threat on the ball. But, of course, we didn't take advantage of that. Because Man City, you know, with their injuries as well, they're not as potent, or just in general, they're not the Man City of old that will just destroy you. They have, you know, they have their weak points. They have been beaten. They haven't looked the best over previous seasons and stuff. So we're not facing the best version. So if there was a time to face Man City, you would say it'll be now. But unfortunately, United aren't the team or the club set up in a way to take advantage of their shortcomings. So I wasn't surprised to see that it ended up the way it ended up. But of course, the game started pretty well. I was confident, thinking, okay, cool, we might get something out of this. Then as soon as the first goal went in, I think that knocked the air out of us. And maybe that goes to say what Ruben has been saying about the club. Maybe he's right. Ruben's been talking a lot about mentality, saying his system is not the problem, it's a mentality, which is a bit narcissistic, a little bit, you know, it's never my fault, always the player's fault type of shit. But he's going to down that hill. He's basically saying his system is not the problem is the mentality of the players. Now, I can kind of agree with him, because once that first goal went in, I think our players' heads dropped. They didn't look like they were ever going to get back into the game. I personally thought the game was over after 1-0, especially because usually if you concede soon after, you kind of, you know, you usually are on the onus, you got the ball, you're trying to press, you're trying to go for an equalizer. And I felt like as soon as they scored, a couple of minutes, we didn't really have a flurry. We didn't really ever have a flurry where it ever felt like we were sustaining pressure, you know? It felt like the players kind of let their heads down. So that was really concerning. And then, of course, as the game went on, no real big chances created. I felt like I saw Sesko looking a lot like Højlund up front. People won't like that now because in their head they've got this idea that Højlund was a problem for us. Højlund was an issue. It was all Højlund's fault. If we didn't have Højlund, we would have scored more goals. But I disagree entirely. I think Højlund was bad. I think Højlund was wasteful. I think Højlund maybe was falling over too much. Didn't have good hold-up play. But I also don't think Højlund was getting the service that these guys think he was getting. Højlund didn't miss that many chances. If we look back, I wish I could look back properly, but I would probably guess Højlund did not miss that many like gilt-edged chances. Like, oh my God, has to score. He didn't really. A lot of the chances that he missed, if we're being honest, he had to create them himself. The chances where he's like bullying a defender, skipping past three, holding off one, then shooting. I'm not going to count that as a chance because he's having to do a lot to get a chance. He left the pitch drenched, covered in mud, fighting people, wrestling people. That's not the way strikers should be. You should be providing them with opportunities. Yes, of course, you're going to get muddy and shit, but come on, bro. Our strikers don't get any service. And you're seeing it with Sesko. Sesko is like, what, 6'7", built like a brick shithouse. We rarely get crosses into his direction. He's rarely competing for fucking crosses. He's rarely running down the line, running through the middle, doing the bended run and getting the ball over the top. All the goals you saw Sesko scoring for Red Bull, you don't ever get him, or I don't ever see him having the same chance at United. I know it's only, you know, it's not been too long. It's only been a few games, but you're not really seeing the same Sesko at Red Bull than you're seeing at United. And I think that's a common theme in that we don't really bring the best out of our players. We don't take the players from their teams and try to make the best out of, and try to ensure that they play the best way that they can play, which they were playing at their previous club, at our club. It's just they have to play a completely different way, you know, which is kind of goes against why you're buying them in the first place. But regardless, so Sesko didn't look that great, and Mbeumo started off pretty well. I think throughout the entire match, I think he might have been one of our best players, although he missed a lot of chances. And Mbeumo looked good. And then I think we ended the half. In my opinion, I was quite deflated. I didn't really think we were going to get back into the game. Second half started, and as soon as I kind of felt that, the second half was a good illustration of that. Probably zero kind of penetration from us. City having most of the ball, pressuring to the point where they end up scoring a second goal with Foden. That second goal with Phil Foden, though. Oh no, sorry, the first goal with Phil Foden, obviously with the first. So the first goal with Phil Foden. I'm gonna say a better goalkeeper will save that. I'll down that hill. I think a better goalkeeper than Bayinda saves that diving header from Phil Foden. I think a better goalkeeper would get his fingertips on that ball and save it. Personally, that's what I would say. I don't think the header was that great that it would, you know, evade a good goalkeeper. But it is what it is. Bayinda's in goal. The second goal that Haaland scored. Mistakes everywhere, really, right? Mistakes from everybody, from Bruno to Luke Shaw to I think that was for the first goal. Sorry, the first goal is Bruno and Luke Shaw. For the second goal, I would definitely say Bayinda, kinda, because he kind of ducks his head out of the way. As Højlund is going through on goal, he chips him and he sort of like ducks his head out of the way. He doesn't just let the ball hit his face, which most keepers would do. And if I'm being honest too, I think, again, I'm not the expert for goalkeepers, but I think when Altay Bayinda goes out to Højlund to meet him for that second goal, I think he dives to the ground too early. Because I think most keepers, you kind of play chicken with a striker. You stay up as long as possible to make you the biggest target possible to get past, so that they can, you know, so that they can probably fumble. But you don't go to ground. I think he went to ground too early. Maybe he was trying to guess what Højlund was going to do. Maybe he thought Højlund was going to try and pass it around him so he could stop it with his leg. I don't know. But I think he should have maybe stood up a bit more and waited for Højlund to do what he wanted to do, and then, you know, got hit in the face. Because I think if he gets hit in the face and it's 1-0 still, that'll be a whole different game. But as soon as that second goal went in, if anybody had any doubts, the game was definitely over then. And then, of course, the third goal, by the time that went in, I wasn't even paying attention to the game anymore. I'm also not going to take any joy from us actually turning it on after the third goal. I'm not going to take any joy, because I feel like the game, it was too late. The game was gone. We were never going to come back anyway. So I feel like the players suddenly deciding to play well, deciding to pass the ball at pace, move very quickly. I don't necessarily think I don't really think I'm that enamored with it personally. But what I did like was the cameo from Kobbie Mainoo. The Kobbie Mainoo cameo for me was another example as to why I'm just never going to buy into this idea that certain players are better than certain players in this current United team. I don't think there's any player in this team who can say, maybe with the exception of maybe Sesko, who can say they are leaps and bounds ahead of the young players playing in our team. I don't think so. I don't think that's fair to say. Because I think the players in our team are so shit that they deserve to get rotated with whoever's playing behind them. So when Ruben Amorim comes out and says, effectively, worse to an extent, that Kobbie isn't good enough to play in the midfield yet, he needs to keep improving, he needs to keep fighting, I just don't believe it. Because the players he's playing in front of him aren't better than him as footballers. Maybe Ugarte might be a better defender, quote unquote, kinda, maybe. But is Bruno a better defender than Kobbie Mainoo? Is Bruno a better athlete than Kobbie Mainoo? I don't think so. So why does he play? Why does he get excuses and Kobbie doesn't? Because when Kobbie gets on the ball, you see the difference in quality. Now, that's not to say Kobbie's going to save our season. We're terrible. We need new wing backs. We need midfielders. We've always needed them. We probably need a goalkeeper, because what I've seen of that Lemens kid, it doesn't look great. What I've seen of that Lemens kid we bought from Belgium, it doesn't look good. He looks worse than Bayinda, I'm not going to lie. So the people getting the hype over Lemens, he's coming in for another league. We're expecting him to be our #1 goalkeeper. It's all fucking pants. We signed figure this out. We signed a first team goalkeeper on the last day of the transfer window. You know, that's an important position in the team, and we signed that person on the last day of the transfer window. And it's a young goalkeeper. It's not like we signed Donnarumma. We signed a young goalkeeper who we're not sure on the last day. Fucking crazy. So I'm not really too optimistic about that. So, you know, it kind of is what it is. But the Kobbie Mainoo situation, if I was Kobbie Mainoo, I'm going on strike. if I'm Kobbie Mainoo and I saw the compilation that I saw, and I'm sure some of you have seen it already, I'm not going to play it. I'll just skip around. But there's like a compilation somebody put up on Twitter. It's like a minute long. It's a minute long compilation of Kobbie Mainoo's performance against Man City. And personally, if I'm Kobbie Mainoo, I'm striking. I'm doing an Alexander Isak. I'm going on strike. And I'm forcing a move in January. Because there's no reason why Kobbie Mainoo cannot play in our midfield. There's simply no reason why he cannot start in that Manchester United midfield as of now. There's not a single player in that midfield that's better than him. Not a single one that's that much better than him that he doesn't deserve to start. So this whole thing about, oh, he's not training hard enough is bullshit. Amrin has favorites. He's also very loyal. I understand that. But let's just call a spade a spade. Like, why, like, that's it. Just say the truth. Don't make it seem like Kobbie's doing something wrong. He's not. You have your favorites. You prefer them. You're playing them. Cool. But let's not lie. Because the Kobbie cameo that we saw for 10 minutes is proof enough. Even the previous game is proof that he should be playing for us, in my personal opinion. He should be starting. He definitely should be starting more than us. But one thing that I didn't like about the Kobbie Mainoo's cameo was this little section here that everybody's creaming over, right? Obviously, he gets the ball and he controls it really well. He skips past one defender. There's other midfielder comes across. He nuts him. I think that might be Pedro. I think that might be Rodri. Sorry, that might be Rodri. He nutmegs Rodri as he goes past him. Now, what I don't like is the gaps. There's too many gaps here. There's not enough midfielders around him. That I don't like personally. And I think that's a clear indication of where we are as a team. We don't move as a unit. The midfielders kind of move by themselves. Like these two deep lining playmakers play by themselves. These players play by themselves, the wing back and the number 10. And the striker kind of figures it out. We don't really move as a unit. So whatever the formation debate is, 3-4-3, 4-4-2, I don't care what the formation is. But I just want us to play like a unit more. I want us to attack and defend together. I don't want it to look like one person's pressing, another person isn't, one person's marking, one person isn't. We have to move together as a unit. I think that's what really fucked us. Because I think there's a way you play 3-4-3 against a Man City who are going to flood the midfield, and you still, in my personal opinion, have more of the ball. But you have to be moving in the unit. Because if you think about it, that three in midfield here, they kind of stay together too. Right? They're kind of together. If anything, maybe Rodri and and Reinders stay together. Then the rest of these players are kind of attacking, right? From Foden to Doku to Haaland and Silva. But what they do is that they stay together as a unit. Foden drops in from time to time. And I don't think we have enough of that, to be honest, which is a big concern. But it is what it is, I guess. I'm a bit annoyed with it. It's not going to get any better anytime soon. I don't expect Ruben Amorim to get fired anytime soon. Because, you know, they've committed to him already now with this kind of fucking makeover and squad overhaul. I don't expect them to fire him and then try to get another manager in who needs more players. With the club not having money, I just don't see that happening personally. So I think he's going to stay for the short to long-term future, which I'm perfectly okay with. Because I don't think it's the manager's fault. I'm of the belief that the manager's partly to blame, but I'm of the belief that we have such poor players that we finished 15th last season, you know? In a league that we probably shouldn't have finished 15th in. We finished 15th comfortably because we're shit. And I think fans who are thinking that Iraola or Conte can come in and get us playing top 4 football, they're delusional. They're delusional. They're delusional and crazy because I don't think we finished 15th for no reason. We finished 15th for a reason. We haven't really improved much of the midfield. We haven't really improved much of the defense. We don't really have a lot of ball players in the team. We've got a shitty goalkeeping situation. Maybe one of the worst we've had in a long fucking time. So this idea that we're going to change completely if we get one manager in to play 4-4-3-3 is fucking garbage. So it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. There's another story that just came online. I don't know if it's true or not, right? There's another story that just came online, courtesy of Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mirror. This is regarding Bruno Fernandes. This is a really strange story. Not sure if this is true, so take it with a pinch of salt. But according to Chris Wheeler, the murmurs coming from Bruno Fernandes' camp is that he's not happy with where he's playing this deep lining playmaker role. He's not happy with it. Now, this is really fucking annoying because as much as I don't like Bruno Fernandes, you have to agree that Ruben Amorim is essentially staking his entire career on Bruno. he's going to get sacked because of Bruno, basically. If he doesn't decide what he wants to do with Bruno, drop him or rotate him, or play him in his favorite position or not, because that's what I personally think. If you're going to play Bruno, you have to play him in his favorite position, which is just up front, whatever, loitering around, creating, scoring goals. But playing him as a midfielder ain't going to work. We already see that. He just doesn't have it. And I also think that attacking position, he's kind of lost a bit of his spark. He misses chances a lot now. He doesn't assist as much. He's not the Bruno that we once was. His powers are waning. But if you're going to play him, you have to play him up front. You have to play him further up the pitch. Now, I'm annoyed by this because this just shows how our players are so entitled. They're such arseholes because Ruben Amorim, for better or worse, is banking his entire United reign on Bruno. And this is how Bruno thanks him. Oh, I don't like playing in that position. Bitch, he plays you every game. Yeah, you don't like playing the position, but Ruben Amorim is such a diehard, loyal Bruno fan that he's willing to play him every game. He never gets subbed. I can't remember the last time Bruno Fernandes got subbed off a game. I can't remember it. And there's been plenty of times where he's played poorly and warranted to be subbed, and he's never been subbed. He hardly gets dropped. I think the only time he got dropped, quote unquote, was against Grimsby. But that was a fucking League Cup game. And then as soon as we were losing, he came on. But he never gets dropped. He never gets treated like other players. And I personally think, as I went with the Kobbie Mainoo debate, I personally don't think there's a single player in this team that's deserving of an automatic place in the starting lineup. I don't think so. I think every player has to play for their position, has to train for their position, has to do the whole "what have you done for me lately" thing with your form. No one deserves to start in this team. No one deserves to start off rip. They will have to earn their right to play through training and fucking matches. Bruno isn't that good. I'm sorry. Some of the Bruno loyalists and fanatics out there are delusional. And even if it wasn't true, I just don't want that kind of atmosphere in my club. Even if Bruno is as world class as these guys say they are, I don't want the atmosphere in my club where there's a one player that cannot get dropped. That's part of the reason why, as much as I love Ronaldo, why I had a bit of an issue with Ronaldo when he was at United. Ronaldo had this thing where he was at United where he got annoyed at even a suggestion that he could be dropped or rotated. Like, got frustrated, like pissing himself on the fucking touchline, making all kind of faces. It's like, no, that's not how team works. You have to earn your place. Sometimes you get rotated, sometimes you get dropped. That's how everybody knows you're in a fair dressing room. So everyone has to bring it in training. But if you have one player who doesn't need to bring it, who can play 10%, who can be shit in some games, who can be ineffective in some games, wasteful in some games, and never seems to get punished for it, no player is going to take you seriously as a manager. I don't care. Because part of the punishment of playing badly is not playing the next game. Then you learn, you fix the errors, you maybe play again the following game. So the fact that Bruno is essentially like spitting in Ruben Amorim's face by saying, I don't like playing deep lining playmaker sort of thing, kind of absolving himself of blame and blaming the manager for playing him there, just goes to show how the lack of loyalty runs two ways, isn't it? Clubs are also not loyal to players, but players are also pieces of shit to fucking managers and their clubs. Because Ruben has gone out of his way, I felt like, to accommodate Bruno in every shape and way. Probably to our detriment. He's gone out of his way to accommodate Bruno to our detriment, and this is how he thanks him. Oh, Jesus Christ. But what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? Absolutely nada. Cool, let's continue. Next thing I want to talk about quickly too is regarding the Tom Sachs Mars Yard 3.0. So I got an update regarding this, big up Bobby, regarding the Tom Sachs Mars Yard 3.0. They're now going to be available via in-store raffle at the Good Hood store. So Good Hood store in London, I'm pretty sure it's in like, is it like Tom, was it Neil's Yard, wherever that fucking place is in fucking Dalston? No, in fucking Brick Lane. So make sure you check it out. The caption says, we're proud to announce official stockist as Nike Tom Sachs Mars Yard 3.0. The launch mechanics. Sign up is open in-store. In-store only sign up, by the way. In-store only sign up available from September 13th to the 17th. The winners will get contacted on September 18th, the following day on the, I think that's a Thursday, the Wednesday? No, it's Thursday, I think. The collection window is from the 19th to the 21st. Customers might enter with a valid ID. Each person's limited to one entry only. Duplicate entries will void all entries. Winners must collect their pairs by 6 p.m. on the 21st. Uncollected pairs will be reallocated to another winner. At no point will there be any pairs available. Oh, okay, cool. So they're saying even if someone doesn't win it, they're going to go back into a raffle. There will be no pairs available for you to purchase on that 21st, which is kind of unfair, to be fair. That's kind of unfair. If someone doesn't pick up their pair on the 21st, and they get leftover, have leftover pairs at the store, I think they should just kind of like do another raffle for the people that are there. Like, you sign up, you do another raffle, and they draw your name. Do you know what I mean? That's what they should do. If you're there, draw your raffle again, and you go from there. So you kind of get rewarded for, I don't know, going to the store, making the effort to go to the store, sign up again. I think that'd be a good way to do it. Personally, I would do that. But hey, what can you do? Please note, ISRU apps users will be prioritized when winners are allocated. Make sure you mention it when you signed up and show us the point. So yeah, there we have it, man. There we fucking have it. Tom Sachs Mars Yards available in London. I think this might be their only stockist. I haven't seen news of other stockists, to be completely fair. I think this might be their only one. Let me actually double check actually. But I think this might be their only one. Let's see who else has got them available. But I'm going to try my best to see if I can get a pair. I'm going to try and sign up and see if there is a way for me to get them and increase my chances by going to every single person's fucking page and trying to get. Okay, there we go. Oh, they're available at DSM too. Dover Street Market also will have them. Let's see what's happened. What's Dover Street? Oh, they're gone already. What? What happened with Dover Street Market page for Tom Sachs Mars Yards? Let's see what happened there. What did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss? Is that page gone down or what? Or that page never up? Oh, that's fucking mad, isn't it? Any news here? Where's the news? They usually got a news here, haven't they? The eShop. Let's see. They got the eShop. No news. Okay, that was odd, isn't it? They had a DSM page there, but then when I clicked the link, the page died. I wonder if they've already been sold on there. Maybe they have. Let's just double check. Maybe they're already sold out. But I did press that link and it just went page 4 page. Okay. So let's see. Let's go here. Okay, there we go. Let's go drop date. What did drop say? Drop date. Did drop date have a list of stockists for the Mars Yard 3.0 yet? I don't see nothing there. Okay, stay locked for info, but they don't give us any info, so fuck them. Big up drop date though. Let's go to the Soul Supplier. Do they have a list of stockists there? Any list of stockists there? Soul Supplier? No. No list of stockists. So weird, isn't it? Before you could just get like a list of people that will tell you, okay, how to cop. And don't you have a list of people who are going to stock them? Is that not a thing anymore? You can't just get a list of where they're going to be available. You have to fucking do all this nonsense. Okay, let's just. It's okay. Maybe they're not available. Maybe they're not available anywhere. Maybe that's just where I saw them at fucking Goodhood, and that's about it. Anything there? So there's a page here, but it's not available. Actually, you know what? Let me copy that link and go to way back. I want to see what this is about actually. Let me see that Dover Street Market link because maybe I missed them. Let's see what does the Wayback Machine say. Maybe the Wayback Machine will give me an idea on what I may missed regarding the Dover Street Market or the Tom Sachs Mars Yards availability at DSM. Okay, Web Archive is taking its time. I don't know what's going on here. Is it me? Is it a computer? I think it's probably the machine, right? Itself. Why won't it just go and let me see it? Come on, brother. Okay, not having it. It's not having it. Okay, maybe just go back then. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do remove list. Okay, nope. Open. Okay, previously. Okay, on the 19th. So I do see here it says. So they were meant to arrive on the 19th. So is that not a thing anymore? Maybe they changed their mind. Let's see. Maybe they've changed their mind. Let's see. Have they changed their mind? Maybe they've changed their mind on here. Let me just check back. Okay, there we go. There's a picture. So yeah, there. So they're available. Okay. The raffle closed them. Oh, it's already closed. That's why there's a raffle for them. I missed it. Fuck. Okay. 1 day drop, bro. Fucking hell. Tom Sachs Mars Yard 3.0 launches 19th. The raffle for opportunity to purchase now open. Follow the link. So the raffle's closed. That's annoying, man. That is super annoying. Okay, cool. That's fine. it is what it is. Then I guess I missed the raffle for those. They only went up the other day. It went up today in the morning, and it's already gone down already. That's a fucking annoying. But hey, I guess we'll try and get them. I guess we'll try and get them via Good Hood. That's the only chance now. I think there's no other places that have them available. I don't think in London. I don't think there's another place that has them available. I think it's only Good Hood and Dover Street Market from what it looks like. I can't see anywhere else that may have them available, unless I know. But yeah, big up them, big up them, big up them. Moving on, let's talk about Thomas Skinner. Let's talk about Thomas Skinner. Let's talk about Thomas fucking Skinner. Most of you guys know who Thomas Skinner is. If you don't, he is this UK influencer. I would say he kind of does like, what does he do? He essentially talks about his family, talks about himself, talks about the great British spirit, English, all this sort of stuff. He's kind of, you know, he's always showing his cute family on social media, doing these type of posts. I'll show you what he kind of does. Stuff like this. Right, where is it? Right, we're off to the gym. It's us and the family. We're on holiday. Like this one. Let's this one. Like that.
Happy Saturday, you lovely people. Now the sun might not be shining, but it's always shining round my gaff. And we got the Traeger on, all the sausages, all the chicken breasts, a little bit of lamb, and the lovely halloumi. Let's let it fry. But guys, it's a lovely day. Come round here, look. They're all here. There's a snake. Right. Here the kids. Wait, Henry, say bosh. Bosh. The kids are here fighting. Right, they've been fighting all afternoon. We're on the beers. No ideas. Follow me, Ben. Ryan here, by the way. Yellow badge, Ryan. Right, Dan's here. Hey, Dan, you all right, mate? Right, listen, coming up. Right, last time you see her, she had 19 kids. How many you got now? 20. 20! There he is, Sean. Green badge. What have we going on? My beautiful wife. How are you, baby? Snub. Have a lovely Saturday, whatever you're doing. On the beers, no ideas, get on the steaks. Bye-bye.
So, yeah. And they actually compete. Him and this other guy compete for the Bosch saying. But essentially, that's what he does, right? He's a British influencer. He's come into a bit of spot of bother, in it, recently. Because he puts out some, you know, thinly veiled, what you describe as to be Tory talking points, kind of nationalist sort of stuff, but you know, standard like bloke from the UK promoting being a family, being an husband, all this sort of nonsense, right? But he's always talking very glowingly about his life and his family, wife and his family, life and his family, wife and his family. Well, the story went like this. Randomly, some journalists, right, rocked up to him and showed him something on their phone, which caused this controversy. It says, Strictly Come Dancing, Thomas Skinner, sorry for grabbing a reporter's phone. So this is how it all kind of laid out, right? So he goes somewhere, a reporter bumps into him, shows him something on his phone. I'm assuming a story. He doesn't like what he sees. He grabs a reporter's phone and he dashes it. That's what starts the whirlwind of like, what's going on? What was he so afraid about seeing on the phone? Why didn't he want to see the phone? Why did he let the reporter ask him questions? Then, randomly out of the blue, it comes out, this story, courtesy of The Sun, where it says 5 days later, right? Tom's affair shame. I cheated on my wife just 2 weeks after our wedding. It's the biggest regret of my life, says Strictly Come Dancing star Thomas Skinner. I don't think he's known for Strictly Come Dancing. He's known personally for his social media. But I guess that was the reason why he tried to grab that reporter's phone and dash it somewhere. Because that reporter probably showed him a story they were working on, which is this story, and probably wanted a comment from him, as you do as you're a journalist, and he didn't react. He didn't like it too well. He didn't like that too much and dashed the phone in anger, which obviously destroys his image of being this like perfect husband, family man thing if he's out here cheating on his wife, especially 2 weeks after a wedding. Usually, guys, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just speaking out of the blue because I'm not fucking married, but I'd imagine if you do get married, I'd imagine as a red-blooded male, you probably tell yourself, even if you were like the biggest cheater ever, right? Even if you made fucking the biggest cheaters in the world look like fucking amateurs with your cheating, surely you say to yourself after a wedding, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna chill. You give yourself like a 1 year amnesty, you know, maybe 6 months amnesty, but you definitely don't go out on the lash. You don't go out trying to like, you know, score, trying to smash 2 weeks after your wedding. You don't do that. Even if you're the biggest scumbag, you kind of lay off a little bit. You kind of have to anyway, because most likely if you've got people like, imagine if you're cheating, but imagine if you get married and then you post all your pictures on social media, and you're still hitting up girls in the DMs. That looks kind of crazy. So you're probably going to give yourself a bit of a chill because those pictures are going to be fresh. You're also in another bit of you're also another phase in your life. You're kind of loving your wife. Maybe you've grown to love her even more now. Maybe you're regretting what you did before you were married. But whatever. You look at the marriage as like a turning a new leaf. I'm going to cut him some bell here. You look at the marriage turning a new leaf. What you don't do is this. This is pretty abhorrent. I'm not going to lie. 2 weeks after a wedding is fucking insane. Because when you do stuff like this 2 weeks after a wedding, even I as a red-blooded male, even I as Mandem FC, right, as the chairman of Mandem United, I'm always gonna back up my Mandem. But I have to say, even if I hear this, even as a fella, I have to say, if you were doing that 2 weeks after, what were you doing 2 weeks before your wedding? What were you doing 4 weeks before your wedding? 4 months, 6 months? What were you doing? Because this is pretty insane to be cheating 2 weeks after your wedding. Let's actually play the video where he kind of confesses everything.
But long 3.5 years ago, long time ago now, but my biggest mistake of my life. I got asked to do like a free bit of treatment of attractive women, I suppose. Seemed a nice person.
Attractive woman, I suppose. What? What does that even mean? Is he trying to say? Is he trying to say without saying that he kind of had to do it because she was hot? What do you expect me to do? You know what I mean? She's basically just standing there. I had to fuck her, innit? Like, what do you expect, mate? She's fucking breathing. Of course I had to lick her tits. Oh my God. I don't know what the treatment means, by the way. I'm not sure what treatment means. Is it maybe because it's part of his work? I thought he's a builder or something. Maybe it's not. Maybe he does other things.
There was a single mum. I just trying to help promote their business.
She's a single mum. I'm giving back to the people. She's a single mum. I'm just trying to help, really. This is the thanks I get. Next minute I know, she's bouncing up and down my cock. Just trying to help. Next thing I know, she's bouncing up and down my sausage.
Made the biggest mistake of my life, and I had a fling, I suppose. Like, it was nothing more than that. It was
had a fling, I suppose. She was really attractive, I suppose. Bro, just say the words, man. Just say the words as they are. You fucked this lady. Imagine somebody asking for some free promo on it, but again, like, not to cut him any slack, but women aren't shit, really, innit, as well, right? The real enemy of women is other women, innit? I keep saying this. My favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes, I think you should also get tattooed on yourself, whoever you're listening, right? The real enemy of women isn't men, it's actually other women. Because we have to be honest, this guy's content was always centered around his family. His whole feed is him and his family, him and his adorable kids, his wife. His whole feed is his family. His whole feed is his family. His whole feed is his family. So if you're a woman and you willingly fuck this guy, you know what he's about because you come across him on his content via Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever, because of how he is as a family man. So then inviting him to do some work for you for free or whatever, help you out, and then you fucking him is like, that's deplorable. When you know he's got a woman, you know he's got a missus, you know he's got kids. That's deplorable, to be honest. Yes, he should have more self-control. It's always going to say responsibility should always be on you. As a red-blooded male, as a guy who, you know, read fucking Jocko Willnick's Extreme Ownership many years ago and doesn't stop talking about it, it is all your fault. But that lady still, man, come on, bro.
It was the one time, it was a mistake, you know, I woke up.
It was the one time. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Don't lie. Don't fucking lie. It was the one time. Maybe the one time with her, not with others. No way. The fact that you're cheating 2 weeks after your wedding, that means you're a real dog. You know what I mean? That's dog to dog speaking out here. Dog to dog speaking, you're a real dog if you're out here cheating after 2 weeks after your wedding. You do not give a fuck. There's no way I believe that's a one time only thing. No way.
Feeling absolutely terrible about it. My wife, since I met her, I changed my life around, and I let her down in that brief moment of madness where.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? You can't say you let her down in that brief moment, you should say you let her down in a big way. It only was a brief moment, but I'm still trying to regain her trust till this day. You shouldn't say, oh yeah, that brief, because it's almost like he's trying to minimize the impact it had because it was a brief moment. It only happened once. Because I don't know, if you're a woman and you find out your guy's cheating, and whilst you're arguing, he's like, babe, I only fucked her once. That should make you really angry, because it's not really about how much it happened. It's not about how many strokes. It's not about where it was, whether conscious or not. That's not really the problem. The problem is it happened, right? So a guy trying to like trivialize it, minimize it by saying, oh, it's only once. That's all it takes to earn it. Or you only need one bad impression. Well, you only have to make a bad impression once to get seen a certain way by certain people. Really and truly. So he made a fucked up mistake, but it's just a message he keep putting out there about, you know, being this ideal husband, family guy. And all in all, here's what he's doing.
Where I weren't thinking, where I didn't appreciate what I had, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I told my wife, you know, my wife's the best thing that ever happened to me. Listen, I know everyone goes, we've all made mistakes, but it was a mistake that...
Why do people do that? Why do people who get caught out with stuff like this, who get exposed, why do they have a tendency to say, we all make mistakes, I'm not perfect? The same woman, I heard that woman the other day actually in a documentary. The documentary about the catfishing. That one on Netflix. It's really good, by the way. I recommend you guys check it out. That one on Netflix is about the young girl from in a high school who ends up getting catfish harassed by somebody, and then that catfish harasser ends up, you know, harassing her boyfriend at the time, all her friends, and she ends up, you know, catfishing and harassing everyone at the school. And spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, it ends up being the mum, right? And in the video where she confesses, she's almost like, oh, everyone makes mistakes. What do you mean everyone makes mistakes? No, normal people don't just harass their fucking daughter, you know, via a fucking dummy account or whatever, or a burner number, because they're jealous of their daughter or they secretly want to fuck their daughter's boyfriend. No one does that. That's not normal. Let's not minimize or trivialize what you've done. What you've done is fucking abhorrent and disgusting. Same goes here. Like, you don't just say, oh yeah, everyone's made mistakes. It doesn't lessen what you've done, you know? Yes, people make mistakes, but it doesn't make what you've done any less than what it is. And if you're really sorry, just say, yeah, what I've done was really fucked up. Just own the mistake and keep it moving. But this like diminishing and trying to pour cold water on the mistake and not make it a big deal. It's like, it is a bit of a big deal because you're sitting down with a son now, having an exclusive with a son. So it is a big deal to you.
I'm so lucky that she forgave me.
Do you remember when you had to tell her that you made a mistake, your wife?
Oh, of course, it was the worst thing I've ever had to do.
When do you say it though? When did you tell her?
It's terrible, you know, like. But
I'm curious to know when you told her. Did you tell her after it happened? Straight after? Or was it like just before this story came out?
I'm a very, very open book, I suppose, and I don't hide anything from my wife. Do you know what I mean? And that, you know, I'm just so lucky that she forgave me. When I told my wife,
to be fair, the most forgiving people in the world, I think in general, the most forgiving people in the world, the most forgiving women in the world are definitely Essex women. That kind of like chavvy Essex woman, they forgive their dudes so many times. Like Rooney specifically. Look at Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney's wife, Colleen. Like, how many times has he fucking, you know, he's smashed like old age pensioners, like prostitutes. You know what I mean? Remember that story when he was at United and he went to that whorehouse and he banged that old lady? Like, not that it matters that they have to be like attractive or young, but Rooney's cheated on fucking Colleen Rooney like 1,000,000 times. Look at fucking Conor McGregor's wife. You know what I mean? That type of brand of woman, and I don't know how you described them because I think Conor McGregor's wife might be gypsy or something, but that type of, like, you know, blonde, Essexy, McMansion type of woman, for some reason they don't leave quick. They don't leave fast. It takes a lot to kind of break their trust or break their hearts. They forgive a lot. You know, they take up a lot. Maybe it's because of the money and the you know, they maybe because they favor family. They like to have a family unit and be together and raise their kids under one roof and shit. I don't know. But he's probably lucky that's the case, you know? She's not gonna, even with all this, there's probably a bunch of women online that are probably harassing her and telling her to break up with him and divorce him because she deserves better. But even under the pressure of other women, she won't leave because, you know, they just value family. So he's kind of lucky that that's the case, but yeesh. especially parading your wife around the way that he did on social, to end up doing all this shit is fucking wild. Let me see another video, because he was online acting like he was fucking dad of the year, mate. But really and truly, he's out here fucking doing a madness with his wife. And look, he's got a beautiful family. How you gonna do that? I don't know, man. There should also be a limit to cheating once you've had kids, or a number of kids. If you've got like 3, you should be too busy looking after them to be really out here smashing randoms. To be honest, right? If you've got 3 kids under the age of 6, you should probably be too busy to even cheat in the first place. I'm not gonna lie. If you've got enough time to do that, then you're not doing enough. Let's check a video.
Good evening and happy Wednesday, you lovely, lovely people. Now, firstly, I hope you had a fantastic day. As you can see, I am looking cream crackered because I've been double busy, out to work in my van. But we are now back home with this little rat who's got dirty feet and he's sitting on the table. I'm going to smack his bum. We got video, aren't I? No. We've got the little twinnies here. The gruesome twosome, the absolute rats, and my wife behind the camera gets prettier every day. What have you done, me babe? Spaghetti bolognese from a packet?
No, of course not.
Homemade. And what is this cheese called?
Some cheese.
Some cheese? Let's tell. We never look when we pour the parmesan all over the spaghetti bolognese.
It's just, I don't know. Look at him. Look at this guy.
All right, you lovely lot. Right, I'm trying to relax on the sofa. The press at West Ham got battered, and I've got these 3 little rats trying. What are you trying to do? I look, can't even sit on the sofa in peace. Like, you little nutters. I wish you all a lovely Saturday afternoon.
I love how the wife in the background ducking out the way, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I've always said, and I think for women it's kind of counterproductive because it sounds like you're hating. But those guys who are very public with like loving my wife, loving my family types, they're usually demons. They're usually dogs behind the scenes, you know? They're usually dogs behind the curtains. You get what I mean? They're usually dogs away from prying eyes. Those guys who are exactly bigger on those guys who are like the traditional wife guys, the ones that a lot of women kind of think that they want. Oh my god, I want this guy who's gonna be this way and boast about me and post me all over. It's like, okay, cool. That guy's gonna be a dog behind the scenes. Dog, the type of person that would fuck your sister. The type of person, you know what I mean? The type of person that will fuck your sister type of shit. Those persons they're not to be trusted in my opinion. But again, I could be wrong. Let's continue with the video.
I fully understood if she was to never speak to me again, you know? Like, no one else made me do what I done for that. Just shows you that just 10 minutes can ruin your whole life, you know what I mean?
Was that all it was? 10 minutes? Is that how long it lasts? 10 minutes. I ain't got much in me. You see me. I'm a big lad. I'm not gonna go for hours. My heart wasn't even in it, babes. My heart wasn't even in it.
Maybe I'm exaggerating, but like, I'm just saying, like, it can just, that brief can ruin your life.
What was her reaction when you told her?
Well, obviously distraught, upset, didn't thought that I would do that to her, and I've done it. You know, we've got 3 beautiful children, we've got a lovely home, you know, we're a family unit, we're stronger than ever. But that part in our relationship, in our journey was a very, very dark time, and my wife didn't never deserve that, you know. She's such a good person. Like, without her I wouldn't be where I am today.
I like how he's talking about this like in the past tense, like she's over it. She probably isn't over it. I'm sure every time she looks at him she pictures that lady. You know, that's the thing. He's talking about like he might be over it, but I don't think she's over it. Let's be fair. I don't think she was ever over it. I don't think she was ever over it.
She made me, you know. And I'm just lucky that my wife is who she is, because my wife is my rock, like, and she's the person that I'd adore more than anything in the world.
Stop trying to convince us, brother. You're the one that fucked you. You're the one that cheated on your wife, bro. We don't need to be convinced. Convince your wife, mate.
And I let her down, and I'm ashamed that I've done it in that brief moment of madness. But it is what it is. Yeah, I'm so fortunate my wife's given me. Like, she didn't deserve it, you know, and I was in that very, very brief moment.
You keep saying brief moment. It doesn't make it less worse, mate. Just because it wasn't long, just because you didn't spend a weekend with this lady or something, just because it wasn't passionate sex over like several hours, doesn't make it worse. He's acting like, oh yeah, brief moment. She literally, couple of bounces, that was it. Couple of swings of the hips, that was it. Nothing else. Doesn't make it worse, mate.
A selfish person. For anyone that's made a mistake, the best advice I can give anyone is to be honest and own up to it. And
LOL at him thinking we need his advice, bro. That's fucking hilarious, man. The narcissism is off the charts. I could give people now. He wants to give people advice. Now he's in influencer mode. Fucking gotta love it.
In an incredible place now. It's forgotten about and we've moved on from it now. We've got over that terrible part of our relationship, which I made happen.
I feel like we're gonna get like a 5 minutes later skit on this. We're over that. We're in a good place now. I feel like we're gonna get like a 5 minutes later. Honestly,
you know, it wasn't down to her. She didn't do anything wrong. She, you know, we wasn't arguing. It was just me in a moment of madness.
Oh, honestly, fucking brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant. He also cried. I don't know why they didn't get the footage of him crying. I wanted to see him crying. I wanted to see him sobbing and crying. That would have been good. That's the other lady in question. What's her name? Amy Lucy Roque. She's got that chin that all the girls have, by the way. Big up her, but she's got that chin that all the girls have. They like that pointy chin, which I personally not the biggest fan of, but you know, girls seem to like that sort of shit. There she is, right? There's the lady. Nice couch though, by the way. She's a lovely couch. That house looks like it's very, very nicely decorated. That's for sure. Manicured as fuck. Toes probably looking on fuck too. That's the wife. That's the story, right? You think that's it? No, but that's not it. That's not the story. It doesn't end there. Because she decides to share a post talking about narcissists, the fling. Amy Lucy O'Rourke. She decides to go on social media on the offensive and kind of clap back at what Thomas Skinner said. Thomas Skinner's fling, Amy Lucy O'Rourke has taken to Instagram to share a post hitting out at narcissists, cry bullies, and victims. Exactly. Hours after the Strictly Come Dancers admitted their affair. The Apprentice star 34, bloody hell, mate. That's a rough 34, though, by the way. That is a rough 34. I think people are lying about their ages nowadays, too. That could be the case, too. Maybe people are just lying about their ages so they can appear younger. But if that guy's 34, then Jesus Christ. The Apprentice of 34, who's set to compete in a new series of the BBC show later this month, admitted that he had a 2-week fling with Amy Lucy after his wedding to wife Sinead. Amy Lucy, who runs, by the way, that's a mad name, isn't it? Amy Lucy, a double barrel. That 2 first names, Amy Lucy. What? Who runs a weight loss and aesthetics clinic in Brentwood, shared the post on Instagram stories. A weight loss and aesthetics clinic, okay. It reposts a quote that says narcissists are cry bullies. A cry bully is someone who plays the victim in a situation they created. Exactly. That's Brendan Shaw, really. Speaking candidly about the fling for the first time, Thomas told of how he met Amy in a pub after taking her up on an offer for some free cosmetic treatment. Oh, okay, cool. She offered to give him, this is a common thing, in it. Do you remember that famous story about fucking Samir Nasri cheating on his wife with a woman that was doing like IVF treatments or something? Was it not IVF? So IV treatments. This is like a common thing. This is a common thing. Like when they approach you for treatments, usually it can be double barreled. You know, it can be treatments about treatments or treatments. Double entendre, let's say. The T personality went on to reveal that he had a 2-week fling with a beauty clinic boss and was fortunate that Sinead forgave him. So he says brief moment, but it was a 2-week fling. The couple, who share a son, Harry, 5, 2-year-old twin daughters, Roma and Darla, married in 2022. He told the son, I had a fling. It was nothing more than that. It was a one time. It was a mistake. Can it be one time if it's over 2 weeks, though? I guess it happened once, occasion, but it's not one time, though, is it really? There's a post she did about cry bullies. Set the record straight during interview. Yeah, during the interview. During one interviews, a journalist placed their phone on the table to record a conversation. I happened to catch a glimpse of the screen and saw numerous messages, not about Strictly, but about personal story from my past. I've been through some difficult times in my life, which is why I've worked hard to move on from. In that moment, seeing them caught me off guard. It felt like was the best to step away and gather myself. This had nothing to do with interviews or Strictly itself. I'm sorry I picked up someone else's phone and I wouldn't ever know if it's a journalist. What I will say, oh yeah, this fucking guy. And then of course the story gets worse because the lady decides to reply via her Instagram stories to set the record straight completely, right? This is her setting the record straight completely. I'm assuming she's probably setting the record straight because a lot of women are probably coming after her because this Thomas Skinner guy was very publicly married and in a relationship and in a fucking loving family. So, you know, they're not too happy about her fucking him in the first place. But she's probably going to argue that she didn't know that he was married. Let's see what she says. This is her statement. Big up Mukhtar for posting this. He told me Sinead was a traveler and was trapped in this sad relationship that made him into an alcoholic and cokehead. Oh, this guy's a real piece of shit. This guy is a real piece of shit, isn't it? Real piece of shit. You get caught cheating, then you blame your wife for turning you into an alcoholic and a cokehead. Wow. This is some real top level. If he ain't gonna get broken up with, if she ain't gonna leave him for the cheating, she'll probably leave him for this. This is some diabolical shit. Throwing your wife under the bus like this and trying to blame her for your adultery and for your addictions is like, ooh. And because he'd had a baby with her, he was stuck with her. He said she was a good girl and she was good to him, but they'd never been in love. He was stuck in a relationship and they were just like friends and lived completely separate lives, and it was completely loveless. I swear on everything that I hold dear, he told me he'd never even told her he loved her. Why on earth would I want someone else's man? How and why would I even make the story up? Oh yeah, see, so she's getting a lot of hate on her side from the women, saying, "Hey, you did this to a family man. You're a whore." So she's like, "No. He told me he was looking for a relationship, basically." I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not the biggest fan of like smashing girls like this. Not the biggest fan of it. I know guys count this as a win, but I think if you have to lie to a side piece to get her to fuck you, I don't think this is good. You know? I don't think this is good. Like, if you have to lie to her, like, you should be honest enough to say to a side piece that, hey, I have a family. I have family that I love. My wife has done nothing wrong, but I just, I can't, my dick just gets hard all the time. So I have to do what I have to do. You're better off doing that and then letting her decide what she wants to do than coming into it saying, yeah, I want to divorce her. We're not really together like that. That's loser game. Loser game. I don't rate that in the slightest. Those lies. It's like telling somebody you love them just to smash as well. I don't rate that at all. I don't think that counts. That's not a W in my opinion. He sold me a sob story, made me feel sorry for him. He was out drinking and doing coke all the time, and I said that shit won't fly with me. If you want to be with me, you have to be normal. You have to be normal. But I love this girl. You have to be normal. Being normal is not drinking or doing bumps or lines. No, thank you. Oh, this girl talking amazing. You can't go out all the time, and he said he wanted to become healthy, eat healthy dinners, start exercising, and live a normal life with me. And when I say to you, this man was obsessed with me, I've been love bombed before, but this was fucking different. I had absolutely no idea he was going to hurt me, let alone that everything he told me was lies. This picture that on the front page is less than 2 months after the wedding. We are out in central London. He has not got his wedding ring on. We had been to a meeting in the morning, then for lunch, then for dinner, everywhere holding hands, having a lovely day. How do you do that with a wife and a family at home? Yo, there are some guys out there that just roll the dice, innit? Imagine if you get spotted by somebody like, what are you doing, bro? At this point, he told me him and Sinead had separated amicably. He told me they separated. I was completely fucking unaware he was actually happily married, just living a double life. He told me that he'd never felt he told me that he'd never felt the way he felt before about me. He manipulated me. He's a liar. He's a narcissist. Women love calling men narcissists, isn't it? I wonder if that kind of just softens the blow for them, because you kind of got duped by one, though, innit? You got duped by a liar. You got duped by an alcoholic cokehead. You know what I mean? You can't really like, score points here. You can't really spoil points here, because I watched that video and he doesn't look like a good liar to me. At the end of the day, this absolute troll, you can't call him a troll. You can't say this, because I guess she's trying to say that he's ugly, right? But you let the ugly guy fuck you, innit? Like, I don't get why women do this and think it's a win. Calling a guy broke and saying he's a troll, saying he looks like Shrek. Bro, because I think she posted something on her Twitter, right? About him looking like Shrek. But surely you can't say that. You can't have, that's not a win. Because you let the broke Shrek looking guy fuck you. So it's like, who really won, who really lost? This absolute troll convinced me that he loved me and I saved him from his sad life and made him think I was in love with him. Absolutely broke my heart. Played fucked up mind games till the very end. You don't even know the half of what I went through, the tears I cried. It has 100% affected me in relationships. Dating is hard enough in this day and age, let alone now. How am I supposed to believe anything a man says? I'm the victim here. I'm the victim here. Okay. I guess she's right in a way, innit? I guess she is a bit of a victim in this because people are thinking she's the perpetrator, but she is kind of a victim. I get what she means. So tell me, why should I have to keep quiet? Watch him on a family BBC show banging on how about much of a lovely family man he is. The public deserve to know the real him. True, to be fair, true. And I'm a big believer in that. If you decide to involve somebody, if you decide to fucking step out of your relationship and go, you know, do your thing as a guy, you then can't be mad at that person that you involve or that you interact with or you end up smashing. You can't be mad if they have their story to tell because you went out. You know what I mean? If you don't go out, there's no story to tell. But if you step out, there's a story to tell and you can't control it. It doesn't matter if they tell story 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later. It is what it is. You did the thing. So tell me why I should keep quiet. The public deserve to know. I won't be explaining myself any further. I've got business to run and a life to live. Big up her. So this was Monday. On the Saturday just gone, he'd been at a wedding with Sinead, playing Happy Families, but reassuring me all along. So this is them out. This is them out and about, right? I don't know. It's a bit shaky, isn't it? It's a bit shaky because as much as I'm blaming the dude, it's a bit shaky because let's just say it was a one-time only thing and he did make his excuses and never contacted her again. I get that she's annoyed by seeing him on TV a lot with his family and stuff, but surely if you're a woman, because she's a single mom herself, right? Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe if you're a single mom, you got more vengeance in your heart because you've already been heartbroken by the first dad, by the first, you know, father of your child, and now you're getting heartbroken again. So if she is a single mom, I get why she did this because she probably doesn't have any patience. She probably has she probably doesn't give a fuck. Like if a guy looks at her wrong, she's gonna blast you in the face. So I probably get it. But if she's not a single mom, then it's a little bit bad mind, isn't it? Because you see him on TV, he's playing Happy Families. Who knows? Maybe he is a reformed cheater. Is it, knowing that he's got a family and stuff, is it really cool to like out him now? You know? Because you know you're going to be hurting his family. You know you're going to be potentially hurting his kids, breaking up a family. Is it really cool to be, if he's still out there doing it now, cool. But should you be really doing, I don't know. But again, I go back to my point. He's the one that approached her. He's the one that decided to, you know what I mean? So it kind of is what it is. And I think sometimes as well, women are really good at social media, right? Women can be really good at kind of like snooping and keeping an eye on their man and shit. But I find that sometimes women who do this sort of stuff, who like get involved with guys in relationships, they love to play, they love to play ignorant. They love to play unaware, uninformed, you know? That's the thing I don't like. It's like, hold on. You're always aware and you can understand when something's happening, you can spot it. But then when you gain something out of it, suddenly you turn blind. Suddenly you're unaware. Suddenly you didn't know. You know? Because you could tell from the videos that he wasn't playing. That wasn't a fake. They were actually, do you know what I mean? They were actually in love. If anything, if you're the side piece and he's telling you he's in love with you, you should be convincing him, or you should be telling him as an ultimatum, if you want to continue doing this thing with you, he has to publicly break up with his wife. You know? Or he can't do public things with his wife on camera anymore because it's upsetting you. You'd have to say that sort of stuff, you know? But yeah, man, wild story, wild story. Most likely this confession, this outburst, this detail from this woman, I think will have some irreversible damage to this guy's relationship. Because I think before what he said in the Sun made sense in terms of, you know, he told his wife, she fucking, you know, she agreed, she kind of got over it, you know. I think that probably did happen, right? I'm pretty sure that he probably did tell his wife, and his wife was, I wouldn't say she was okay with it, but she probably did move on. You know, him and his wife probably do have a good relationship. He probably told her, and she was okay with it. But once you start telling the side piece, stuff like, oh yeah, my wife is a traveler, she's a gypsy or something, and you know, I'm trapped in this loveless marriage where she's a friend, and I don't really love her like that, but I can't leave because I'm sure she's not aware. She's not aware that you're trapped. So yeah, I don't think she's going to receive this too well. Then he posted a statement, I think. Where is it? He posted a statement. After the fact, he said as follows: "My life ain't perfect. Far from it. I've made big mistakes. I've let people down. Done things I've always regretted in my past. The worst was when I did think I did it to my wife 3.5 years ago. One stupid moment I'll carry forever. It was nothing more and nothing less despite what's being said. I told her straight away. She had every right to leave me back then, but she forgave me, and that forgiveness changed my life. Since then, we've built a new home. We've got 2 more beautiful children. We've moved forward together. We're stronger. We're a family. Everything is to me. Family is everything to me. That's what that's what I do everything for. But I've noticed I've become a target. Every part of my life is being dragged out, even my family's. Duh, that's what happens when you're a social media influencer, bro. People around me have been offered big money to sell stories. I've noticed I'm being portrayed in the public enemy number 1. They're trying to break me. They got me cancelled. And if I'm honest, I'm not sure why. I know what it's like to be low and down on luck. It's the whole reason why I spread positivity online. Because I know what rock bottom feels like. I've been there many times. I'm not some full-time celeb in the bubble. I still graft. I still have to go to work. In fact, I've been working this morning before I started strictly training. I've taken an absolute battering online and in the press, and I'll take more. I was told it would happen. First they'll attack me character, then me family, then me income. It's happening firsthand. Most of what's said about me isn't true. I've got thick skin. The abuse and death threats don't bother me. In fact, some lies make me laugh. But please leave my wife and kids alone. I did this to them by my silly moment and my madness over 3 years ago. No one else. If you want to go for someone, go for me. But that's a problem though, my friend. When you do what you did, you bring your family into it. And to be honest, we can't pull your family out of it because your family are a big part of your content. You know, your family are the reason why you're famous, essentially, right? It's not just because of you, because of what you represent in your family. So you can't really, put your family to one side or not include your family because your family are you and you are your family. In my life, I've lost close friends. I've lost family. I've got mates doing life in prison. Ooh, dangerous man. And yes, I've got extremely checkered past. But more than most, I've never shied away from that. I've never shied away from that. I've made mistakes. He loves saying mistakes, isn't it? Mistakes. If you dig, you'll find more. But here's the truth. Most people have made mistakes. It's okay to own up to them. It's okay to talk about them, and people do deserve second. By the way, he didn't own up to it. He didn't confess it to the public. He didn't need to, don't get me wrong. But that woman exposed him. Now he's confessing it. Let's relax. At the end of the day, it's about getting back up, rebuilding, looking after your loved ones. As long as I've got my family, I'll never stop fighting to be a better man. I've been forced into a corner to bring up something my wife and I have moved on from years ago. I feel so bad for my wife to have to go through this. It's humiliating for her. Well, you should have thought about that before you stuck your willy in somebody else, mate, shouldn't ya? I'm sure I'm going to be forced to talk about it to other moments that have happened in my life. I'm not sure why everyone's so interested in me. Oh, come on. Now he's a victim. Don't know why people care about me. You know why they care. You make them care. But if I'm completely honest, no one else's opinions matters apart from those I care about. I never take any criticism from anyone I wouldn't take advice from. Oh, all right. Ooh. That's the truth. It's all worth it. Is it all worth it? We keep going. I know what is right and what is wrong. Love you all. Have a wonderful Monday. Great start of the week. And remember, you are 10 times stronger than you ever imagined. Bosh. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, fucking right. But that's how it ended, isn't it? That's how it ended so far. Thomas Skinner being exposed as somebody that maybe, just maybe, isn't the perfect family man as he likes to paint himself out to be. Maybe he's not the perfect family man he paints himself about to be. And let this be a warning to all women out there. Let this be a warning. Wife guys this is what wife guys are about. Wife guys are 50-50. Either a wife guy is super committed and all about you, or a wife guy that's super public and committed about you, but in the in his private, whenever he goes away, whenever he's away from you, he's a dog. So don't judge other men because of their inability or unwillingness to fucking be public and shit, because it's not true. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way, okay? But hey, what do I know? Absolutely nada. Cool. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about this. Big up Travis Scott. So Travis Scott was recently pictured wearing a pair of Jordan 1 lows shy pinks, right? New color of the Jordan 1 lows due to come out soon. Shy pink. You know how the Jordan 1s are from Travis Scott. Backward swoosh on the outward side, on the outside of the trainer, and standard materials, color choices, color blocks and stuff. This time around, instead of it being brown and navy and shit, they've gone for pink, right? So a nice little change up, a pink dusty effect color wise. Me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Jordan 1s. I absolutely hate Jordan 1s personally. I think they look like, basically cheap or budget fucking Jordan 1 highs with how they've been cut. I prefer to wear dunk. I think the shape of a Jordan 1 in the low looks weird because they're very flat and pointy and whatever. I prefer them in a high, but hey, what do I know? Regardless, that's the shoe. Not a big fan of it. Fucking hate it. But what it did make me think about, there's a video of him wearing the pair. That's a video of Travis Scott at Bad Bunny's concert in Puerto Rico, his residency. But what it did make me think, wearing the same shoes, what it did make me think of was this rumor that's been all over the media recently. There's a rumor going around that Travis Scott could be linking up with Adidas. Now it got denied. Kurko, whatever the fucking platform's called, did say that the rumor wasn't true. But I do remember hearing that this was the case, right? I do remember hearing that this was the case, that Travis Scott was going to work with Adidas. Now it's not the case. It's been disconfirmed, but judging by the pink color of these shoes and judging by how, samey they fucking look, I actually wouldn't mind if it was true, I actually wouldn't mind if it was true he went to Adidas, because I really want to change up. I'm kind of tired of this silhouette. I'm tired of that makeup. I'm tired of the backward swoosh thing. It's just boring, right? I kind of want to refresh. So I actually wouldn't mind if Travis did link up with Adidas and gave us some different looks, because let's be honest too, Adidas in terms of lifestyle stuff, in terms of music, in terms of all that malarkey, they probably need someone like him anyway. And I wonder also, with him going to the fucking Bad Bunny gig and Bad Bunny being a big Adidas athlete fucking person, I wonder if that's any connection to any link. I don't think so, but I wonder if it is. But I actually personally would love to see Travis link up with Adidas and create some new silhouettes going forward. I think that would look fucking sick. I really do think that would look fucking sick. But again, what do I know? Absolutely nada. Okay, my friends, thank you for joining in. That has been the episode number 945 of the Exno Zinger Show. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like the stream, make sure you subscribe to the channel, all that good shit. Greatly appreciated. For those of you listening to the audio podcast, you will hear my tune of the day playing courtesy of the audio podcast. My tune today is from a band called Acopia. Acopia. They released a little EP recently, full of some good tracks that I'm a big fan of. The track that I'm going to play by my outro will be Talk About It. Talk About It is my track I'm going to play as an outro. For those of you listening via the audio side of the pod, it's called Talk About It. Make sure you check it out. I would describe this as somewhat trancey. It's also kind of maybe linking up to big up Thomas, actually, who mentioned it, that when I said, I had a dream about playing in Panorama Bar and I play 50 Cent track. I think this is the track that would sound like it, This would actually go really well with a 50 Cent track playing as an opener in Panorama Bar. You play, just a little bit or Candy Shop, and then you play a trance track, then you go into a big heavy house track. Will be a pretty decent fucking way to go. But regardless, really good track courtesy of Acopia. Check it out. That's my track of the day playing underneath my voice for those of you listening to the audio pod. If you're not listening to the audio pod, you won't hear anything, go fade to black, and I'll see the rest of you guys later. But for now, take care. Peace.